Uh, Let me hit that OK button. Yeah, so I'm out here in the Bitterroot pretending to be a rancher and taking care of 5 horses and 11 chickens. So, and I just got up some poop, so hopefully I don't have it all over my face. Um, but yeah, life is good. And sorry that I couldn't be there with you in person. And Alex, I love you so much. And thank you for asking me to introduce you. You're such a dear friend to me and such a beautiful asset to the Missoula community. You have been since day one. We shared a home group together for about 6.5 years, and I met her and her beautiful family when they arrived from Fort Collins. About that time, I guess that must have been about what 6.5 years ago, right, Alex? That she's been here with us, and yeah, just what a gem of a woman, and what a example of a woman in recovery and sobriety. I mean, she's doing this thing, man, and she shows up, as we all know, and she is the queen of service. And oh, I got a low battery going. Um, and and yeah, just an amazing example. She's got a sponsor, she's got a home group, she's doing all the things. I think she even has 2 sponsors. So I'm looking forward to hearing you speak today, honey. And I love you so much. We love you. So here is Alex. I give you a hug and a kiss if I was there.
I appreciate you.
Love you, babe.
It's been about 4 years, but it does feel longer. I think I'm Alex. I'm an alcoholic. I think the really cool thing about when I first moved here is, yeah, I jumped right into service in this meeting. I think the second week I was here, or maybe I think it was the second week I was here. I came straight into this room. I love speaker meetings. And I think something needed to be done. And I'm like, okay, I'll do it. And I just that is how I stay okay. Is I just throw myself into AA because that's what's worked for me this whole time. So my sobriety date is March the 9th of 2017. And I'm 35 years old. And I was just thinking about, like, I was just coming up last night for me, like 8 years to a 35-year-old is like, what the? That's like a whole lifetime. Absolutely like a whole lifetime ago that I was using things, using people, and drinking to oblivion. So, yeah. So I'll start at the beginning. So I was I'm the oldest of nine, but I always only raised with the four of us. So it was me and my two little sisters and my little brother. And my father, I was born in California, and we had this big family, Mexican family in California, where we every occasion was a party. It wasn't like a kid's birthday party. It was a party, and everybody was bringing the beers, and somebody brought the tequila, and it was a party. And that's just how it was. And like moving forward, my dad ended up, and this was like the 90s, so meth was huge in that time, and every single one of my aunties and my father and my grandma on my dad's side were all addicted to meth and drink. And so my mom had my youngest sibling, and then she realized that my dad and his buddies were cooking meth 4 doors down from us. We lived in like a long apartment complex, and they were just side by side. So we're in five and one they're cooking meth. And my dad is taking part in this venture. And so my mom gives him an ultimatum: you either move with us to Colorado, I'm taking the kids, or you're not going to see the kids. So she he moved with us, and it was horrible. I was 5, almost 6, and it was miserable. When we left, it was terrible. He didn't have his family. He didn't have meth. He didn't have anything. So he drank, and then he was just mean. And now I see that the solution for him was those drugs, and my mom, and the you know the the move took that away from him. So he was mean to my mom, and he was mean to us, and he was nasty, and he like would pick his nose and flick his boogers on the glass. In part of the entertainment center, I just vividly remember this. And he would get pissed and throw things. And so as a 5, 6, and 7 year old, I instantly jumped into that role of like caretaker. Like I needed to protect everybody. I needed to keep the peace. I needed to provide safety for my siblings. I just took that older sibling role like super seriously. And that is when I decided, and I might have already known this, I was oldest, that I knew better for everyone. I knew what was best for everyone, how to protect everyone, and I took that role very seriously. So fast forward, my dad, left and all the things. So my mom's a single mom of 4, and she is a server, and she's a bartender, and she does everything that she can to provide for us. We were poor, but I don't remember ever thinking when I was younger, and I have a pretty good memory. I don't ever remember like thinking, "Oh, we're poor." I knew we didn't have the things that other people had, but I never felt like poor. And she always provided for us. We always had $200 each to go school clothes shopping. $200 was a lot back then. Now it's nothing, but she always took us. I'm from Canyon City. Moved from California to Colorado. So I lived in this little town called Canyon City, Colorado. If you've never heard of it, it is the like prison capital of Colorado. It's Fremont County, has like 11 prisons in it. And there's it makes up like 4, 5, or 6 little towns. And surrounding in all this prairie area are giant facilities with big lights. And we had inside of Canyon City, we had the max prison for violent offenders. I mean, Manson was there, and the Unabombers there, and all these people. And I lived there. So that's where I grew up. But my mom always provided for us. But there came a time when I was like, I don't know, probably 11-ish. And by 11, I'm already, cooking full meals for my family and taking care of everybody and making sure everybody's getting to school and doing all of that in a very mean, angry, bossy, bully way. Like I wasn't a nice big sister that took that role seriously. I was a mean person that you were going to do it or I was going to force you. And no, there was really no adult there to keep me from being like that or to tell me that was wrong because things got done. And so when my mom got home, there was no like repercussions because things got done. And so she let it slide. And she was angry too. When things didn't get done, she would yell at me. She was physical. She didn't know. She had me when she was 20. So, and then she had my siblings back to back to back after that. I think my sister is, I'm 35, my sister's like 31. So, or 30 or 31. So, yeah, a young mom that really didn't have the support or the resources. She just needed to make ends meet. So she was gone a lot, and eventually she got a job in town. So she worked out of town a lot of the time, and it was a 9 to 5 job. She got a 9 to 5 job in an office. So she's home. She's home every single day. She sent us to school every single day, and she was home for dinner every single day. And this is threw my whole world off. And I got, knocked out of my role as, provider and, all the things that I thought I was as a 12-year-old girl, like, or 11, I think. I was in 6th grade. And so she's like, go be a kid, like, you're not the mom. And she just kind of knocked me off my pedestal. And when that happened, I was hanging out with they're amazing people, amazing kids, and but their parents all didn't really care. They didn't really care as long as we lived in a small town. As long as you didn't, get busted, you could smoke, you could drink, you could, smoke weed. As long as it smoking weed, as long as you weren't in their house, smoking cigarettes, as long as you didn't get caught with them, I will buy them for you. And drinking, as long as you stay in the house, as long as you're not out running the streets, I'll provide it for you. And so my mom was not like that. So I just went and found these surrogate parents that would let me do what I wanted. So I had a bunch of amazing friends and their amazing parents that took me under their wings and let me drink and let me smoke and bought me cartons of cigarettes and them not knowing that I'm like going home to steal money from my mom to come back to spend it on booze and cigarettes and weed. And so I drinking was never, it didn't start out like totally terrible, like, but I had consequences from drinking from the very beginning of my drinking. I blacked out from the very beginning of my drinking. I was trying to escape from the very beginning of my drinking. There was no like introduction to drinking and then it was just fun for a bit. Like it was always consequences, repercussions. I quit going to school. I, started getting caught by the cops. I started hanging out with men that were way older than me. I started using everything else. I started stealing from my mom, who, like I said, I grew up poor. My mom's a single mom of four. Like nobody can afford to have their child stealing from them. And so, yeah, I was not a great person growing up. So I continued to lie, steal, cheat, all the way into, I started when I saw so in the big book it says, it happens pretty quick for women. I would say from when I was 12 to when I was 14. If I had gone to a doctor and if they had checked my liver, like I can't even imagine what that would look like for a 12-year-old kid, But by the time I'm 14, I'm diagnosed manic depressive and ADHD, and the doctor decides to give, and of course I lied. I didn't tell him I drank or smoked or smoked cigarettes. And I was those things. But yeah, but I had all those other party favors to help me along. And so he decides to give me Wellbutrin and Ritalin. And my mom did not, she did not have the time nor the capacity to like manage those drugs for me. And so the Wellbutrin, of course, went out the window. I'm like, fuck that. And then the Ritalin ended up getting crushed up and snorted. And my friend had other pills that he got at the same around the same time, and we just spent our time. It was like the best part of my life right then, my best part of my drinking, because I could drink so much more. And I didn't black out as much, and I didn't pass out as much, and I didn't pee my pants as much. And so, like, I was so stoked in that time that I was using meth and well, yeah, and eventually it became meth because I ran out of pills. But so I went to treatment when I was 14 because obviously my mom saw that there was a problem and she surrendered me because there was nothing that she could do, and I wasn't gonna let her do anything anyways. And so that's what she could do was she called my probation officer, she called my caseworker, when I had come home off of Bender to take a shower. She called the cops. My runaway is home. She will leave soon. Come now, you know. And by the time I was done showering, getting ready, and getting ready to leave again, they were all there. And that was my first stint in jail and treatment. And I went to foster care for like a week because they didn't have a placement for me yet. And so that was fun. It was a fun way for me to learn how to manipulate the system and all these people and convince everyone that I was okay. Because I got out and like they told me it was like one of the fastest. I was one of the fastest people to get out of that program or graduate from that program. I think I only missed like 2 or 3. I think I was only there 2 or 3 extra weeks, where normally it's like a couple extra months. And yeah, so that was fun. Did that. Started drinking and smoking cigarettes right away. Then I started smoking weed as soon as I was off of UAs. And yeah, and it just started over again. And by the time I was 16, I had just smacked my face on so many rocks, figuratively and actually. Like, I catch myself with my face when I fall. Like, so as you can see, I have multiple scars. These are not like piercing scars. These are, I got punched in the face. I fell. I got in a car accident. The airbag blew my face up. Like, bad things happen when I drink. So I continued on that path until I was 16, hit a rock bottom. Nobody wanted to support me anymore. My mom had moved to Fort Collins. I was living on my own with my friend. And yeah, had no business. I did not know how to take care of myself. My version of taking care of myself is, where's the next bottle? I guess I need a shower. Like, I peed last night. Like, let me go change my clothes. Like, that was me taking care of myself. And so I get to Fort Collins because nobody wanted me in Canyon City anymore. So, and I'm like, Mom, I don't want to go back to school. I'm just going to meet the wrong people. That's what I told her. And she's like, okay, get your GED, start working. Right. So I did that. I started working at IHOP. I don't know if you guys know this, but when you work in the food industry, especially at IHOP, the cooks are felons or very nice Mexican men, or and the servers are a bunch of like young moms or 21-year-olds or that want to party, right? So I'm like 17 and I have and instantly I'm reconnected with people that will buy me cigarettes, that will buy me booze, that will do whatever I want for them, or whatever I want them to do for me. And so I'm just right back on that path. And I stick in the food industry. So that I always have these people at my disposal. And so I go right back to partying, drinking, pissing my pants, falling on my face, really just doing terrible things to my family and to myself and to all the people around me. Um, Luckily, I did not continue to use meth, but I was doing everything else that anyone else was offering me. So I continued to use and drink until I got pregnant with my son. And the reason why I quit drinking at that time was because I physically could not. I tried over and over and over. I tried to drink and I just kept getting sick. I kept throwing up. And that's when my friend was like, "Do you think you could be pregnant?" And I'm like, "Hell no." Like, that's the one thing. I have never been good at taking pills, but I will make sure that I take my birth control. I'm not trying to. And unfortunately, or fortunately now, but at that time, unfortunately, I had missed a week and gone 1 week late to get my depot shot. And I thought I was good. And she bought me a couple pregnancy tests from the dollar store, and they both came up positive. And I quit drinking that day. She really encouraged me to quit smoking cigarettes. I tried. It was very hard. I quit for a little bit. I would have one here or there. She would get really mad at me. My roommate was a very good friend. And so I did quit that also, but I did marijuana maintenance through my pregnancy. And I had Dominic and when I was 20 years old and in November of 2010. And my birthday, my 21st birthday was January 14th. So I planned that whole entire time to just get shit faced. I'm like, "Mom, I'm staying the night at your house because you're going to be taking care of him. Like, I'm not going to be a mom on my 21st birthday." So we did actually have like a really nice dinner where I drank one of those big flaming giant drinks with like 15 shots in it. I shared it, but that was my first drink like after I had my son. And I had pumped and pumped. I was breastfeeding. I pumped and pumped and pumped to make sure that he would have enough food. This is my version of like managing this, right? So that I could party and have a hangover and be okay with it. My conscience would be clear, right? That night I pissed my mom's couch and my mom was like, "Did you pee like she was like, "Did you pee on my couch?" And I was like, "I don't know." Like, like this is my MO. Like I've been doing this for years. This 21, I've been doing that for, 9 years already. And totally acted like, "Oh my God, I don't know, maybe." And I physically could not take care of my son for another 24 hours. I had drank so much that I could not physically take care of my child. And that's not the first time. That was the first time. But that would be it was many, many times that I could not take care of my son. So by the time I'm like 25, I got really lucky. I applied for all of the help that a single mom could get. I got my son into an amazing daycare. We got into a rent controlled apartment And that was just me and him with our own bedrooms in a great community where like everyone had kids or was like an older person, and like there was places for them to play, and it was amazing. Well, by the time I'm 25, I'm like, this is fucking boring. I hate living next to these people. I want to party. And by then, I had a DUI. I hadn't driven in like 3 years. I had driven, but I hadn't had a driver's license in like 3 years. I'd been arrested for driving under revocation. I had all of these consequences. And humiliations like that. I'm just like getting arrested on my way to work, on the busiest weekend of the year because it's graduation weekend. And yeah, that was just my life. It was just like, man, like disappointing myself and others, and like not, and having this like I don't give a F attitude. Like I'm not hurting anyone but myself. Like this is the lie that alcohol told me, right? Alcoholism told me was that I was not hurting anyone but myself. And even though I had a kid, even though my family was close to me, even though I had younger siblings, like it was just, and they had obviously like expressed to me, like, Alex, like you are hurting us, but I was just like, you're lying. I'm only hurting myself. Like, you guys are selfish. Like, let me do my thing. And so by the time I'm 25, I'm bored. I don't want to live there anymore. I'm so deep into my alcoholism. I feel like I need to move out of that place, bring my son with me, and move into this. I call it the trap house. This trap house where it's me and this younger girl who she is. I I don't know if you know who what a Wook is, but she is like the Wook queen of freaking Fort Collins, like at every show, doing all these things, and I want that. That's what I want. So I'm gonna hang on to this. So we move in together. We're like her boyfriend's the dealer, her ex-boyfriend is a dealer, all her friends are dealers. And I'm going to all these concerts, like we're drinking every single night, and and thank God. And thank God that I moved out of that safe little place where I never got in trouble for my drinking, where I passed out every night after my son went to sleep, where I filled the house with smoke on multiple occasions because I passed out when there was fries in the oven or cheesecake in the oven or whatever it was that I decided I needed to bake that night, and with no repercussions, because when I moved to this place, I saw I'm sitting here and there's bottles everywhere, and every morning I had to pick up all these bottles and trash and foils from people doing, freebasing cocaine and shit everywhere. And I'm sitting here and my son's over here playing video games with my friends, and in the bathroom or in the kitchen, which had a wall, and then there was a kitchen here. I could see them weighing out coke to send the next person. And in the mornings, I would wake up and there would be people in the room doing nitrous, and you could just hear the balloons fill. Every morning, I'm up with my kid getting him ready for school. And so I call my mom and I tell her I can't be a parent. So she comes and gets my son. My sister calls me and says, "You can't I can't let your niece be with you alone at this point." And I'm like, fuck. Like that's like my pride and joy, like being an auntie. Like I never wanted to be a mom, but I always wanted to be an auntie. And but he like I knew that like no one deserved to live like that. So I went to an NA meeting because I was doing a lot of coke and I was doing all the things. At that point, the drinking had stopped working. It just stopped. And it hadn't worked for me for a long time. Don't get me wrong, but like I kept trying. And so I was like microdosing all these things like Molly and mushrooms and doing all these outside issues to try to make the alcohol work for me again. And so I went to an NA meeting. I cried. They were like, "It's okay, honey, shut up." Like fine and listen. And then I went back out, and I drank for another week. And so that was like the very beginning of March and of 2017. And I had a great group of like core group of friends, like that had no like interest in going to an NA meeting, but took me and sat with me. And they're awesome. I still talk to one of them. The other one's off doing his own thing, but he's still a great person. And so they sat with me. I cried. They took me to buy another bottle afterward, and I drank myself into oblivion for the next 7 days. And that day that I woke up, and nothing had changed. I still woke up. The bottles were still on the ground, everything around me. I had broken a window. Like it was all the same shit. And I just realized, I don't know, that I knew that I couldn't do it anymore, but I just realized that like I was gonna die. And that I had just become okay with that. Like I was just okay with just dying like that. And I was ready to at that point. I was like, okay, like any day now, like it's fine, you can take me. But that day I had actually met somebody that had told me that they were sober. And I was hanging out with her. She was letting me drink. Our kids were hanging out. She was letting me drink at her house, but she didn't drink. And she was sober. And she was awesome. And she's like this bubbly, sweet little tiny thing that had a baby on her back and a stroller full of kids. And like she was just this bright light. And she didn't tell me that she did AA. She just told me that there was another way. She showed me there was another way to live. And that she had gotten sober when she was 21. And I was just like, or that she had never had a legal drink. And I was just like, what the hell? Like, she was like a phenomenon to me. I'm like, I don't know what this is, but you're not real. And and I just latched onto her. And so when she must have mentioned AA. I think when I told her I went to an NA meeting, that's when she had mentioned AA. And I called her. It was before 8 in the morning because I had the liquor store opened at 8 a.m. And I called her and I said, come pick me up or help me. Otherwise, I'm going to the liquor store. And she's like, sit your ass on your front porch. How many cigarettes do you have? I've had like half a pack. She's like, good. Just sit there and smoke them and I will be there. And she ran a daycare. So she like had like 4 kids at that time, 4 little kids, because this is during school, like 4 little kids. And she strapped them all in the car and she picked me up and she took me to her house and she topped me off the cliff and she took me to a nooner and she told me that I could do it. And then she dropped me back off at home. We went and got another pack of cigarettes. She dropped me back off at home and she said, now you have to get yourself to the next meeting. And I looked it up and it was on Matthews. Matthews was the street behind my house. And the church was literally a block away from my house. And it was a speaker meeting. It was a Friday. So it was a speaker meeting. and I went, and I haven't had a drink since then. I did a little, I smoked weed for my anxiety for a few years. I had another spiritual experience in that moment, and realized that if I'm going to do this, I have to do it, just with me and my higher power. I don't need anxiety meds. And if you do whatever you need to do, that's fine. Outside help is amazing. And I do need outside help. But, so I got rid of that part of my life, and, I just kept going to AA, but just one day a week. So one day a week I'd go to AA. And by this time, me and Levi had trauma bonded and decided to be together. And Dominic is 6, like going into first grade. I think I want to say I was sober when he graduated first grade is what I think. So, and we move out of the trap house and we move into an apartment. And my alcoholism is so, oh man, I was so miserable. I like an alcoholic without a solution is, man, I don't want to be in the mix of that. And I was mean, all the things that I had always been, but like the alcohol kind of masked it at one point, and then and then I was just left with these. I had no good parts left. I was just left with these bad parts of me, and that was like my first year and a half of sobriety. Was just like always mean, always nasty. I mean, okay, maybe not always, but it felt like it. Like I was miserable, and and I was just going to the one meeting. It's the one meeting. And finally, I started to let people in. I started going to fellowship. That was my first thing was I started going to, okay, no. The first thing was service. I started making cakes for that meeting. That was my first thing. And so then I was a kitchen manager at this time. So Friday nights, you're not supposed to leave early on Friday nights, but I decided I was putting my sobriety first and that my boss could go fuck himself. So I made the cakes. I would bring them to work with me. My friend would pick me up, and whatever happened in the kitchen after that, I don't care. I'm going to my meeting. So, and I would go to dinner after the meeting, and then I would start to listen to the people that loved me around me, and would tell me, when are you going to be done being miserable? Like, let's just do the step. Like, just go ask somebody to be your sponsor. I even had them, telling me like they would be willing to ask somebody to be a sponsor for me if I didn't have the balls to do it myself. So, I think that last part, like, really, like, I'm like, okay, I do have the balls to do it myself. I promise. Like, I'm gonna do it. So I did. I asked somebody to be my sponsor, and I worked 1, 2, and 3. And then I got a new sponsor because I was too scared to start step 4. Mm-hmm. And I did 1, 2, and 3, and I did the rest of the steps. And I had my son, Leroy, who you guys all know and love, and yeah, and life started to get better. I still am very much an alcoholic that runs on self-will, and self-will runs riot, and I have a control problem, you guys. I have a control problem. I have a, I have a, I'm a bit judgmental of the people that are like in my life, like really close to me. I have a perception problem that alcohol really helped me. Like I could see past your flaws when I was drinking. And like alcohol helped me to like connect with people. And I am a social person, but connecting with an individual, like unless I'm like, you know, on drugs or alcohol, is really hard for me. Like individually, like one on one. So in my in my service career, my most of my service is done on the group level or in the district level or in a, you know, in a group. Like I want to carry the message to the next alcoholic, right? But working one on one is like super uncomfortable for me. I stutter and I can't, you know, read in front of somebody, and I get in my head and my ego comes into play and tells me I'm not good enough, tells me I'm the worst. And so anyway, so I want to read this. It's one of my favorite. And, you know, acceptance is the answer. Everybody loves that reading, right? It's famous. But nobody reads this part. It's the best part. So Shakespeare said, "All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players." He forgot to mention that I was a chief critic. I was always able to see the flaw in every person, every situation, and I was always glad to point it out because I knew you wanted perfection just as I did. AA and acceptance have taught me that there is a bit of good in the worst of us and a bit of bad in the best of us. That we are all children of God and that we have the right to be here. When I complain about me or about you, I'm complaining about God's handiwork, and I'm saying that I know better than God. For years, I was sure the worst thing that happened to a nice guy like me would be, would be that I would turn out to be an alcoholic. Well, that's not. I don't relate to that. I wore alcoholism as a badge and an excuse. But today I find it's the best thing that ever happened to me. This proves I don't know what's good for me, and then I don't know. And if I don't know what's good for me, then I don't know what's good for you or bad for you or anyone. So I'm better off if I don't give advice, don't figure I know what's best, and just accept life on life's terms as it is today, especially my own life as it actually is. Before AA, I judged myself by my intentions while the world was judging me by my actions. That's like deep, you guys. Like I always had the best intentions, right? I always wanted to be the best big sister. I always wanted to be the best auntie. I always wanted to do like the best for my friends. I'm like out here taking care of you while I'm like feeding you water while I'm inhaling any bottle that I could get. And I'm always worried about you, but I'm never worried about myself. And Alcoholics Anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous has really shown me that when I make sure that my intentions align with my actions, then I'm going to be good. As long as I can at least know that my higher power is there. I'm not good at always asking my higher power to direct my thinking. I really have a great intention of asking my higher power daily to help me be, you know, of service and have love and tolerance and patience and all those things that I wish that I could do. But um, I'm human, and I think that that's like what my number one thing in here is. Like I've realized that it's okay to be human and to show up how you are, the way you are to a meeting. And then take what you learn in those meetings and go be a better human. And if I could just be a better human every day than I was yesterday or than I was last week, or even if I get one day where I'm a better human this week than I was last week, I still see that as progress. Um, Service work is huge for me. I like I said, I do it at all the different levels. And I have had experiences where I've been able to sponsor people, and they've been amazing experiences. And I have had the experience of being able to get somebody all the way through the steps, two women who I'm pretty sure are both sober today. I know one of them shares her birthday with me every year. She thanks me. And I think I was 2 years sober when somebody connected us on thank God for Zoom. They connected us on Zoom, and then we were able to start connecting in person, and that was an amazing experience. And I needed that. And AA has given me, I know it's given me like the perspective, like it's changed my perspective on the way that I thought things could be and the way things actually are. And it's given me hope that I never had. I never had any hope for anything. I was just like, that's just the way it is. Sucks to be you, nerd. Like that was my life. Like, and to look at somebody or to come in here and to watch people. I'm a people watcher. I love to do it. This is a perfect place for it. I always have. Uh, but to watch people grow and to watch like the color come back into their face and like them get healthy and it's just like very small changes week to week that you notice, but um man, that's a gift that most of the world does not get to have. So I'm gonna keep coming back. um I really enjoy sitting here being of service every week, making sure that I show up for you guys, because I'm not one to like run and jump up and go run to the newcomer when they're so sad and desperate and all that, because I just don't know how much I can offer somebody at that point in their recovery. But I do show up, and when they come in the room, I smile at them. And when somebody asks me to stand up here, I do it. And I open the door and I open the Zoom and I make the cake and I do all the things and I show up to the events and I show people what AA has given me. And then every once in a while, somebody asks me to be their sponsor, and that's cool too. But I'm really excited to be able to share my story today because you guys all do it for me. And that's why I stay in speaker meetings, because I just need to hear that constantly because I am selfish and self-centered and I want to control everything. But when I sit here and I shut the fuck up, I can't control anything. I don't get to control what comes out of your mouth, and I don't get to control who comes in and out of these rooms, and I don't get to, and it gives me practice for real life. And I think that's really like a gift that just keeps me here. And yeah, with that, I will shut up. But I love you guys. Thank you all for being. Thank you.
Before closing, let us remember that anonymity is the spiritual foundation of all of our traditions. On a personal level, tell anyone you wish who are an AA member, but please do not reveal the identity of anyone else. You can find an audio recording of this meeting with past speakers on our YouTube channel. Our channel is at Sunday Speaker, so the full address